Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Nikki Clarke Show. And how are you doing? Excellent. I love that. Wow. It's a full crowd. Thank you so much for making the decision to be here on this Friday night, and it is such an amazing and blessed evening. I am your host, Nikki Clarke, and the Nikki Clarke Show is about transforming lives one story at a time. We invite people from all walks of life to come and share their heart stories, their stories of empowerment and upliftment, and we have so much to learn from everyone tonight. So first up, we have an incredible woman who is doing amazing things for the community. She is a pastor, she's also an educator, and an author of children's books. So please put your hands together and welcome Dorette Homer to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too.
Awesome. But, you know, face to face. We've been communicating, virtually in that, but it's good to see you here.
Thanks for having me.
And you're more than welcome. So tell me a little bit about your background leading up to becoming a children's author, and congratulations on that, because I know it's not an easy feat.
Thank you so much. Well, to speak in respect to my background leading up to becoming an author, it's only fitting that I include and also share briefly my history, my beginning in my country of origin. So, Nikki.
What's the country?
So, I was born in Kingston, Jamaica.
Yes. How many Jamaicans out there? I was just waiting for her to say that. Yes, yes. You saw the hands go up.
Yes, I was born into a large family of 8 siblings, 5 boys and 3 girls. So in the 1970s, my mom, she uprooted the family and immigrated to Canada. And so she wanted us to have a better life, way of life. And so my journey in Canada, be it, getting an education and so forth, I did not know exactly what I wanted to be. I had 3 career paths in mind. I had a doctor, labor and delivery nurse, and also a fashion designer. So those were the 3 career paths that I pondered on.
Doctor and fashion designers, like.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. So I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be. So during my high school years, I pondered about those career paths that I would take. However, when it came on to post-secondary studies, after I completed my high school and journeying into my post-secondary studies, I made a complete turnaround, a different direction. I went into finance and accounting. So that's the career path that I took. And so I worked a number of years in that career field.
Right.
And afterwards, in 1992, we had a major recession. And so companies were laying off, and a lot of companies were closing down. So I didn't want to sit around and wait. So I did a proactive thing to do, and I went back to school and got qualified to work with special needs individuals who have mental disabilities, mental health disabilities.
Right.
And so I worked in that, that career for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And after working in that career, I transitioned from that into working with special needs kids with the school board. And so I would say that is the start of me wanting to write a book, even though at that time, Nikki, I did not have an idea that I would write a book. But I could see where it was the steps started for me to write my book. But at that time, it was not revealed to me. I did not know I would be writing a book during that time.
Okay. Well, I think we share a lot of common paths, because I too was kind of given the choice to be either a doctor, a lawyer, or family disgrace.
Wow.
Right? So I, strict Jamaican parents.
Exactly.
So I went the teacher route. So I was a teacher for many years.
Wow.
And then, then it just came upon this opportunity to be an author. So
right.
There we go with the author part. But I'm so proud of you for what you have accomplished. And this is your first book, right? Hi, Miss Homer?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So what was the motivation to write for children?
Well, Nikki, I got into the school board and I started working with special needs individuals. I started off as an educational assistant, and then I transitioned into becoming a teacher. And over the years, I've worked with students from junior kindergarten up until to grade 12. And during those years, I can't count the many times that students would come up to me and said, Miss Homer, what is wrong with your arm? We want to know, I want to know.
Right.
And so, because usually I would answer their questions, but I felt within myself that I didn't do it much justice, because you only have like a 40-minute period to teach, and there's so much to do within a day, and there's so many kids that are coming up wanting to know what is, why is the reason my arm was made the way it is.
Right.
And so I thought about, packaging myself in terms of creating a play or a skit. I wanted to market myself to sell the idea of coming into school boards, hoping that they will, buy into the idea to have someone come in and do presentation to students. And so that was my original intent, to do that I would just reach a wider audience of students rather than speaking to them individually.
Okay.
And so, Nikki, when I started writing my skit and my play, the pandemic hit. And so because we had all the shutdown and the lockdowns, everything was uncertain. We didn't know what would happen, like when schools would be reopened, and if they would even, welcome outsiders back into the school. So I was kind of like torn between, I didn't know exactly what to do. So one day I was sitting and I was really thinking about it seriously, and I was like, oh, I have this great idea, but now it feels like as if it's falling to the wayside.
Right.
But then the idea just came, the thought that just came to my head, why don't you turn your idea into a book? And I'm like,
And there you
into
go.
a book. Yeah.
There you go.
That's my book. Hi,
That's
Miss
your book.
Homer.
Hi, Miss Homer. And basically the book, I mean, it's beautifully illustrated, by the way. Who illustrated this book?
So it was illustrated by Mr. Islam. I outsourced it from someone in Bangladesh.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
Because it was just too expensive to do a traditional publisher
Sure.
to publish the book. Yes.
You have options,
Yes.
marketing options, but it's beautifully done, and then it speaks to just the children's curiosity as to who you are, and
Exactly.
and I love the fact that you've taken how everyone is made differently and spun it around to empower others, right? To accept their differences and their uniqueness.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. And then this book that you have, Compliments to My Mommy. Well, what can we learn from reading this?
Well, the idea behind compliments to my mommy is generated with my daughter. When she was at a very young age, for Mother's Day, she gave me a jar filled with different pieces of papers with nice words, sentences on it, complimenting me on, how I look, how I dress, how I take care of her, and so forth. So I had the jar tucked away for many years. So one year I was cleaning up and I came across it, and I revisited all those words that were on the papers, and so I thought, why not put it into a book? And that's what I did. And so I dedicate this book to my daughter, Dream. Yes.
Her name is Dream?
Her name is Dream.
Okay, well, Dream is right there in the back.
Yes, she is here to
taking
support
some
me.
snapshots.
Yes.
And who else is here? Who of your fan club?
Well,
Else can we acknowledge?
my husband is here. My husband of almost 30 years.
We should clap for that. That's huge. Some people don't last 30 minutes. So congratulations. whatever
And
you're doing.
my young son, David, is here. My older son, Dondre Homer, is...
I know Dondre.
You do know Don? Oh, yes,
Yeah,
he
I
was on your show,
interviewed him.
too. Yes.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yes.
Awesome.
So he couldn't make it. I invited him, but couldn't make it.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, again, huge congratulations for what you've done and the legacy that you're leaving to empower others, especially children, stretching them to understand where they belong in the world and
Exactly.
to appreciate other people. So where can people purchase these books?
So my books are on Amazon. It's on Ingram Spark and Barnes & Noble as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And where can people follow you on social media?
So they can follow me on social media on TikTok. It's Dorette Inspires. And on Instagram, it's Dorette Homer.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
I hope I can get a couple of signed copies of the books.
Yes, sure,
All right.
definitely.
All right. Thank you so much. Dorette
Thank
Homer,
you.
everyone. Reach
Okay.
out to her on social media. We'll be right back.
On my knees again, I'm praying. God, give me strength for one more day. Lay my burdens at your feet. No problem, no battle you can't defeat. My heart belongs to you. 'Cause only your love can see me through. For your love, I surrender. For your love, I remember. For your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, no longer living a flat line. Saving me was part of your design. I put my life in your hand. You're always forgiving, you understand. Thank you, Lord, for what you do. 'Cause only your love can see me through. For your love, I surrender. For your love, I remember. For your love, I surrender. For your love, I remember. For your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, for your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, for your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, for your love, ooh, for your love, ooh.
All right. Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And how are we doing? Amazing. Every time I look out, the audience multiplies. I love that. Keep it coming. Next time I glance, another 20. Fantastic. Well, you're here on the Nikki Clarke Show, live on GOlive TV, and so excited to be here to share some more empowering stories. And I have to say that this woman has been a good friend to the show for many years. We stay connected, and I love everything that she's doing in the community. She is a business owner. She's a mom. She has her daughter out here in the audience. And she also has a really incredible story that she's going to share about her time in Thunder Bay. So please put your hands together for the founder of B323, Michelle Rosetta.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much always for being so welcoming and gracious. I do appreciate it. But we're going to start with gifts first.
I like gifts.
Yeah, it's your Hottie Bomb, but also it's Stop the Sag tea bag, which goes into the conversation, the questions you had wanted for me. So that is a new product, and it is an offtake from the clinical herbalism that I just finished. So I want you to have one.
Stop the sag. Tea bag. Explain yourself, Michelle.
I like to be a little spicy.
I don't know which sag do you speak of. Everything's firm.
But it goes into the inflammation question, right?
Okay.
You had pre-sent the inflammation question,
Yes.
and that is a big deal, right?
It
Because
is.
we are so used to being told that what you put on, right, is going to be your quick fix. And yes, what you put on is very important. It is, because you're feeding your skin. You are nourishing this part, and it's the largest organ. Using good and high vibe and nutritious elements on your skin is very important. We've talked a lot about that.
Yes.
But with the clinical herbalism, which I finished over the last 3 years, I really realized, I wanted to be able to serve my customer base in a greater way. And people used to come to me, I was at the markets in Davisville, and they'd show me their wounds. But there's a part where people have to understand, it's also, you have to take care of the internal.
The internal part.
So what I put together there was some herbs and some plant medicine that generally most people can use them. It's plant medicine, and plants are potent. So you always want to do your homework before you start using something. Check it out. Make sure there's no contraindications. But in there, I put like nettle and primrose and some really nice cleavers. And what those do is they internally strengthen the cellular tissue.
Okay.
So that ends up, the connective tissue on the outside does tighten, and it brightens.
And stops the sag.
And stops the sag.
Gotcha.
Just name alone. Names are, we're both, we know marketing.
Words are powerful.
Do you know how
yes.
many ladies in their 70s that walk up and they're like, stop the sag tea bag? They love it.
Yes.
They're like, I'll take one of those.
I'll take 2.
I'll take 2.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. That's
Well,
very
yeah.
kind of you.
And the interesting thing is the nettle in there.
The nettle.
So I did my thesis on it, and just so everyone knows, it's very cool. So nettle actually turns M1 macrophages into M2 macrophages. And what that is, so in our cells, we have macrophages they're a diverse group of white blood cells.
Okay.
So that's the part that, when you think about eating up all the little pathogens. Okay, so what happens is when bacteria comes in, your body's like, oh my God, there's a foreign invader. Okay, and so
that's the voice they use? Oh my gosh.
in my internal monologue. And the T cells would be like a different voice. But anyhow, so what they do though is we get an inflammatory response. And we've talked about this before.
Yes.
When you get rashes or you get boils or when when your body
Eczema.
says it's not happy or the cracks even in the feet.
Right.
So what nettle does and what other plants do, which is very cool with the inflammation, is they turn it into M2 macrophages. So basically they tell the M1 stand down. And they end up turning on, so activating the M2 macrophages. And what those do is they can produce different elements, but collagen, and they start to rebuild the cellular matrix,
right.
and they start to wound heal.
Okay.
So that's why it's so cool in terms of inflammation and fine lines. If you actually protect the cells, it reduces the deterioration and then hence reduces fine lines.
Got it. You understand that? I think you broke it down really beautifully. Would you agree? I get it.
You can always go to BE23.ca. I have my blog there, so I've done 2 really good articles on the nettle.
Fantastic. And I should also mention, congratulations on your work with Eco Parent magazine.
Oh, Eco Parent is
beauty
wonderful.
contribution.
Yeah, so it is really wonderful, and so I do write for them, and we do have the True Beauty Confessions podcast,
which I was on.
You were on, and it was awesome, and definitely everyone has to listen to that episode, especially the bathing suit part at the end was like, boom, mic drop. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah. It is really good.
Yeah, no, so the True Beauty Confessions, and basically we're talking about the evolution of beauty and what we're bringing to the table and evolving in that and embracing it, but I think leveling up. We're at the place where we're leveling up, and beauty is a vibe.
It is a vibe. Yes, definitely. Vibe away. Yeah, keep it vibing. I just wanted to, share some of my own, some stuff that you may understand. I have some property in Jamaica, and we're looking into farming certain herbs as well.
Oh, and
moringa.
you're inviting me?
Well, I'm sharing that. We could probably talk. It could be a business venture later on, but we're growing moringa. And then lemongrass. So what are some of the good things with that I'm learning?
Well, they're antibacterial, for sure.
That's
Lemongrass is amazing. And that's, again, the plants are full of flavonoids and antioxidants and all those amazing things. But lemongrass is amazing just to even put into a diffuser. You would know this, a diffuser, right? And it's going to go throughout the air, and it actually reduces pathogens in the air.
Okay, so we'll talk after.
Well, let's talk. Yes, we're definitely going to talk. You know, it's so funny. I literally came out of a snowstorm to get here.
What?
Yes.
What part
I
of the world?
feel like I am an emissary coming from the Northern Kingdom, and the army of the dead's at the door. Honestly, the plane flew out of like a snowstorm with ice
From where?
pellets. I'm not joking. Thunder Bay is not even a joke. It is so real.
And
So
how long was the
I feel
flight?
like I'm in Jamaica right now. Is that not sad? I got off the plane. I'm like, oh, it's balmy here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So what was the temperature when you left Thunder Bay?
Well, it was under 0 anyways. I think it was about 4 or 5, -5.
But then.
It was just under that, so that's why it was the slushy pellets and everything. It was bad weather. It was,
Oh my
I was
gosh.
so happy. I was like, please let the plane get out. Like I was envisioning it coming out of this cloud of snow,
Yes.
and then we landed
Into
in the
this
sun.
balmy Toronto.
Yeah.
Yes. And balmy traffic. Yes. We survived.
Well,
But so Thunder Bay, and you're
Yes.
here. Tell us about Thunder Bay, living there, and some of the situations.
Well, interesting
that you're
enough.
facing.
So, I mean, I was in Toronto. Toronto was very good to me in terms of my business, and I raised my kids here, and it was a really beautiful community with the farmers markets and musicians and all of that. They had a really great access to incredible people. And then throughout the last 2 years, I had decided, I got my clinical herbalism, and then I realized maybe I shouldn't be hustling so hard, and I had that CSF fluid leak, right? So my brain stopped floating. So, and it's so funny though, because it's, I have I have no filter. Because at this age, we worry about other things falling.
Yes.
My brain was falling. I'm like, serious? So I did go through a whole healing process with that. But then I was like, maybe I need to be back in my roots and
Right.
back home. And I wanted to be closer to family. And because of clinical herbalism, I really thought, this is a great social media, shift. I can have pictures of me picking goldenrod, because I used to have the pinup, which I still love doing. But I was thinking, I'll just be picking goldenrod in these baskets on social media. And anyhow, so that was my business plan. And also my parents are up there, and we have a homestead.
Right.
And up there, you can build multiple buildings. So I was thinking I'll make my cute little tiny house, and I was going to set up the manufacturing space on there to be able to bring in apprentice and whatnot. And then what happened was, and this is what's happening all across Ontario and Canada, and I want people to know, what happens is Toronto can be insular in terms of this is where things are moving and shaking, right? But a lot of Canada is small communities. And those small communities are really being attacked on a lot of levels right now in regards to our own health and safety of community. And what had happened to my parents and subsequently our whole family is, January 16th, they get this acquisition property, it's an expropriation package. So this is a homestead, it's my grandmother's land, and we've been there for a very long time, and our neighbors, that's where their grandfather was born, right? So that's what this community is like. And basically Hydro showed up and said, well, we need your land and your property. And that's
Excuse me?
Yeah. No, seriously, my
Just
parents
like
are
that.
72 years old, and what has happened is, and because I know we only have a succinct amount of time, but they never put our community into the workshop. So they said, we've been doing this since 2019. Sorry, you didn't know? They never consulted us, and it's in the documentation. And so this lack of due process is from the beginning of this project to now. And instead of being held accountable for that, they simply are bulldozing through and attempting to save face. And the problem is that we just need, they said, well, we need more electricity for electric cars. I just need everyone to know electric cars don't work up north.
You don't?
No, it's too cold. I know because I had an electric engine in my vehicle, and we had a problem first winter. But we just want people to know that there is priority differences between Northern Ontario and Southern Ontario. And we just need this story down here because it's good people up north. And we need politicians and community members to understand that all our communities are worthwhile.
Right.
And that our seniors are worthwhile and our children. And the problem with these hydropower lines, because they'll say, oh, well, there's already one there. Canada, and that's the one thing I want to get out to, Canada is not talking about the electromagnetic radiation that comes off these high voltage lines.
Okay.
They refuse because it is our it is our most used renewable resource in sense. But we should still be talking about it.
Okay.
And so if they put a double one in, it means it's creating this massive field of EMRs, which contaminates water and wildlife and all these things. And that's what we're trying to get to the table, and we want others to know.
Yes.
And if anybody knows about anything, we want to hear from you. And they can check that out at it's NOTLINFO.ca, so neighbors on the line, info.ca. And our neighbors, we have to remember our neighbors go from one side of the country to the other, and all we want is to be heard. And in Northwestern Ontario, they have the space to go around. It's simply cheaper for them to take out the community. So
What a shame.
it is a shame, and a lot of communities are going through this right now. And you know, that's the other begs the question, why I'm a business person, why am I paying taxes anymore? If they can show up at your house and say, I'm sorry, we need your home. And what people have to understand too is up there, we don't have anywhere to go. My parents have nowhere to go. And our assessment values are so low, they can't give you, they won't give you the return you would need to replace a retirement, to replace my retirement, and then replace the kids. That's a solidity of property that's bought and paid for, right? So always that was supposed to be our foundation as a family, and we're not the only ones. So this is what's happening to well over 1,000 people. So it's about 300 homes that are going to be impacted in this 500-meter swath away from this other hydro line. So that's what we're dealing with. And the positive part is, though, I've learned wonderful stuff about community initiative, and community is empowering, it is strong, and when people come together on a unified cause, a common cause, it is powerful. Yeah. Everyone laughed at me when they said, hydro will never come to the table, and I said, oh, really? So, you know, we don't have the results we want, but they did have to come to the table, and our community really showed up for each other. So community initiative is really your greatest leverage I can see.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, being an activist is very important.
It's tiring.
It's
I left Toronto. I was
exhausting.
like, I'm tapping out. That's what 2 years ago, I'm tapping out. I am done. I'm going home. No more battles. That's literally, I said, no more battles. I'm going home to pick goldenrod, and that is it. And then meanwhile, because I said no battles unless they come to my back door. So I am so concerned I did that to myself, but sure enough, what comes to my back door?
Yes.
And I can't walk away. It's
No, you
one of
can't.
those ones you can't.
And you don't have to do it alone. So tell us, how can we help you?
Well, I would highly just check out that website because there's so much resources there. It's the NOTLINFO.ca, and really it's awareness. It's letting people, I kind of feel like there's that Dr. Seuss, we're talking about books, children's books, but there's that one where it's like Whoville, and Whoville's going to be blown off this little dandelion puff, and they have to yell loud enough. They're like, we're here, and then finally they get the little Who girl to go on the top, and she's like, we're here, and then like they don't blow the puff away because they finally hear the community. So I kind of feel like I'm coming down from Whoville, and I'm like, we're here. So we need people to be aware. We need people also, it is knowing your self-worth. It does not matter who you are, where you come from. Knowing your self-worth, claiming that self-worth, and claiming it for each other. That's what changes the culture of community, right?
Absolutely.
And it reminds people that we still, even though we may be far, technically we are all neighbors.
We are.
And however you treat your neighbors, how you treat yourself, and you know that one.
Oh, I know that one. Love thy neighbor like yourself.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm 100% behind you, and I really appreciate what you've done to make yourself heard and to amplify the voices for those who can't speak on their behalf. So thank you for what you do. Please, Michelle Rosetta.
Thank you.
reach out to her on social media. B23.ca is her website as well.
Yeah, b23.ca and at Hottybomb, HOTTYBALM for all Hottybomb needs.
All things to keep you
for all
unsaggy.
things hotties.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank
All
you
right.
so
Come
much.
back anytime.
I will. I will. It's balmy down here.
It's hottie bomby. Thank you so much. We'll be back.
Someone told me that if you want to manifest your future husband, you got to put it out there. So this song is dedicated to my future husband, wherever he is. You got me. Baby, 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 you really something. I'm tripping off your loving. Tell me how you do that. Saw the tides of love come and go, and this time I know for sure, 'cause you got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. Yeah, you got me. Baby, 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 tell me what you're thinking. I hope it's what I'm feeling. Hey, hey. Tell me how you do that. That my God, I'll let you in. And this time I am winning, 'cause you got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got me.
All right, welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. Let's do a wellness check. How you doing? Amazing, amazing. Yes, it's been a wonderful Friday, and we have so much more to share with you. And you know, we're about celebrating wellness, health, beauty, all that moves the needle forward in people's lives on a personal and professional level. And I am super excited to meet Mrs. Mississauga. She's here to grace the stage and tell us about her journey. So please put your hands together for Fumi Akaka.
Thank you so much. So good to be here this
Thank
evening.
you. Oh, it's a pleasure. What a beautiful picture behind us. Wow. It's just
Beautiful,
stunning.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Would
me.
you agree? Yeah. I love that. I love the fro.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your background. What made you decide? What motivated you to enter into a beauty pageant, Mrs. Mississauga?
Yeah, thank you. Really nice to be here.
Thank you.
And I'm originally from Nigeria, where I spent more than 30 years of my life. And coming here some 3 years ago on a cold summer evening.
Cold summer evening.
Yeah, cold, right, for me, because it's a shock, right? Coming from a warm climate and,
very
you know.
warm, yes.
But then my heart was really very warm, you know, for the opportunities that we can have for myself, my family, and our lovely children.
Yes.
So we are really grateful to be here, and it's been an incredible journey so far. And how did I get here? So since I was a child, I've always loved to be a beauty queen, you know, reading about...
Very fitting. You're beautiful.
Thank you. I saw Naomi Campbell, and I just felt I look like her. And,
does.
you know, that really inspired me to want to become a beauty queen, a model, you know. And something happened that really put a stop to that. And it was a really dark time of my life. But then, here I am today, being a Mrs. Saga, representing my city, you know, for Mrs. Canada United World. And yeah, that's it.
Well, that's fantastic. And, I didn't realize that, I know I always knew about Miss Canada or Miss Universe, but I didn't realize that there was a Mrs. version.
Myself too. So let me tell you about what happened some years ago when I was a teenager. I always wanted to become, like I said, a beauty queen, but I had an accident, and it really made me so devastated. I was at the prime of my life. I had some scars all over my body, my lips, right? And I had so many questions, like, wasn't this meant to be? And I just gave up on all my dreams. I was a shell of myself. I just gave up on everything because I lost my self-confidence, my self-esteem. And that was it for me. All my dreams about becoming a beauty queen just down the drain. But then I just met a lady at a volunteering gig I went for, and we just struck it up from there. And she said, "You should be Mrs. Saga for Canada, Mrs. United." I'm like, "What's that?" Because I never, my age, being married, I just felt there was nothing like that for me again. And then when I started researching about the pageants, Canada United World, I discovered that there's no limit, there's no age limits. Miss, they have a Miss category, they have a Mrs. category. In fact, there was a 61-year-old lady in my division. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I'm telling you,
I love that.
It was so inspiring that we can all be what we want to be whenever you want to. There is no late time to start achieving your goals.
Oh, I love that's beautiful. And how long is the process okay, I guess maybe walk us through the process. How do you get involved? Do you have to be judged in front of a panel? How do you get selected?
Yeah, so for the Mrs. Saga, all you need to do is just go online, check them out, and apply, which was what I did. I just decided to do it because when she told me memories of what should have been, just kept coming, and I was, maybe this is actually the time for me to do this. And I was grateful for that accident back then because in hindsight, I felt it was a journey for me to discover myself for who I am and not rely on my beauty, just my inner beauty. No scar can actually change who I am.
Right.
And I had to accept that. I had to accept that I love myself despite my scars, despite my imperfections, because I've always felt, you have to be perfect head to toe for you to be a model or a beauty queen. So, tears were just gushing from my eyes that day that, I could actually still achieve my dream. I could actually see myself as a beauty queen despite all these years. So I applied. And I'm like, let's see what will happen. And, they ask you questions. You submit, like, a resume, why you should be the beauty queen representing your city, right? So I did that. And out of the many applications they had, I was chosen as Mrs. Saga. And that's the beginning of the journey, because then we start prepping for the big day, which is coming up on May 14th, by the way.
It's coming up soon. Okay.
Yeah, very soon. So you have to prepare yourself. I read books on self-confidence, affirmations. You do trainings on how to talk, how to work, all of those things. And that's the stage we are right now. So we're prepping for the big day.
And where is the unveiling? Where will it be, the venue?
It's going to be in London, Ontario.
Okay, I was just there yesterday.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So how can we support you there?
Yeah, well, I still need sponsorship for some of my pageant needs. And whoever wants me to be like an ambassador for their business where they sponsor some of my needs, you're very welcome. And I'm on social media at Fumi Akaka. You can follow me to support as well. And just bring business my way whenever. Thank you.
That's amazing. We'll give you another round of applause for that.
Thank you.
So I know you have a really inspiring message for both women and men. That what I'm hearing from you is that it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to go for your
go for your gold.
Yeah, go for your gold.
Whenever the opportunity presents itself, just grab it. Don't think about what is not perfect. Don't think about what you need to do to ensure that you get it. Just start at the time that opportunity presents itself. And much more than that, growing up back in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, we had this, my community had this thing about beauty queens being immoral, they are the devil's children or stuff like that. It's another message I want to pass across to Christians like myself, that you don't have to lose your values being a beauty queen. You can still be true to yourself and still represent your inner beauty. Let people see that inner beauty in you and still hold on to your values. That is you being making a positive impact in your community. And to immigrants like myself as well, your dreams are still valid. Whenever, wherever, just go ahead and start building yourself. Dust off the debris and rebuild. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. What a wonderful message. Thank you. So you've inspired me to be a Mrs.
Yeah,
Oakville.
Go for it. Go for it. Next year, please do it.
Really?
Yes.
I'm just looking for an opportunity to be a Mrs. So just putting it out there. We'll see who watches tonight, and then maybe Mrs. Oakville is on the horizon.
Just go. And you don't have to be slim, tall to become a Mrs. Just embrace your beauty. Your inner beauty is right there in everybody. That's what I believe. And then go for it.
Awesome. There are many people watching, especially youth, and I'm very passionate about mentoring youth and making sure they get the right values and to pour into them. In your language, can you speak to youth watching right now?
Oh my God. Don't get me started.
Okay. A brief one.
Well, I'm Yoruba. And
Bawane. Bawane?
Oh my God. She understands my language. Oh, I feel that's so good. Dadani.
Yeah.
So, gbogbo àwọn tó ń wò mí,
Àṣẹ.
mo fẹ́ kí ẹ mọ̀ pé kò sí ìgbà tí ó tó àbí tó yẹ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń ṣe nǹkan tó ẹ fẹ́ ṣe, láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo àníyàn yín, láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo ẹ̀dùn ọkàn yín, láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo ìfẹ́ yín tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe láyé, láti ṣe ìgbàkígbà lóòrèkóòrè tẹ́ bá fẹ́, láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ láyé yìí kó ṣẹlẹ̀. Ẹ dìde, ẹ ṣe ní kíá mọ́sá, ní kíákíá. Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ wà pẹ̀lú yín, á ràn yín lọ́wọ́ láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo ìfẹ́ yín kí ó ṣẹ. Ẹ ṣé gan ni.
Àṣẹ. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for gracing us
Thank you
tonight.
for having me. Really, really great being here. I'm grateful. Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you. And tell us, how can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, please follow me at Fumi Akaka, FUNMIAKAKA. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Fumi Akaka, please follow her on social media and support her pageantry, Mrs. Saga, coming up soon, May 14th.
And soon to be crowned Mrs. Canada, right?
Soon to be crowned Mrs. Canada. That's what's up. You met her here first on the Nikki Clarke Show. We'll be right back.
Lay my burdens at your feet. No problem, no battle you can't defeat. My heart belongs to you, 'cause only your love can see me through. For your love, I surrender. For your love, I remember. For your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, no longer living that flat line. Saving me was part of your design. I put my life in your hand. You're always forgiving, you understand. Thank you, Lord, for what you do, 'cause only your love can see me through. For your love, I surrender. For your love, I remember. For your love, I surrender. For your love, I remember. For your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, for your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, for your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Ooh, for your love, ooh, for your love, ooh. Always forever, always forever. Always forever, always forever. Someone told me that if you want to manifest your future husband, you got to put it out there. So this song is dedicated to my future husband, wherever he is. You got me. Baby, 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 you really something. I'm tripping off your loving. Tell me how you do that. Saw the tides of love come and go, and this time I know for sure, 'cause you got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got
Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. How you doing? Yay, yay. I looked across and more people came. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And the show is about transforming lives, one story at a time. And I have to say that I'm celebrating 15 years. 15 years the show's been going on. October will be the 15th year. October actually 18th is when I started the show in 2008. And yes, so you're all invited right back here, October 27th, for the 15th anniversary of the Nikki Clarke Show. And we have some incredible performances. Kiara Leah, she's an R&B soul singer. We also have Justin Hamilton, he's a gospel rapper. And then we have Abel Maxwell, who is a jazz performer from Ottawa. And so much more, and I'll perform. So we're gonna have some performances, cake, and lots of great stories. So I hope you can come. All right, so mark your calendar, October 27th. All right, so we're back again with some, great stories to motivate you, and I have with me a full stage of family love. There are actually 3 sisters who work together with this amazing program for skincare, and I was just so honored to have met them a couple of months ago, and they really moved me with their story. So please welcome Candace, Camille, and Christine, the Oliver sisters, Q Style. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Nikki.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You were the only sister I didn't meet at the time. That's Candace, right? Right. Okay. Well, welcome. So yes, it's been a very exciting time for you. I just saw the post about something to do with Vanity Fair. So tell us about that.
Yes, so we're so excited to finally announce that we were a part of the Vanity Fair Power of Women Gala event. So our products were in each of the bags, which were about 400 bags. So we were so excited to finally announce that. So it's huge. Thank you. So yeah, no, it was definitely a big deal, and it happened the beginning of this month. It was when the event happened. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
so name some, if you can drop some names of some celebrities that you are, kind of collaborating with the gift exchange.
So for the Vanity Fair Gala, a few of the honorees were Kelly Ripa. You also had Judy Bloom. And then you also had Rosie Perez,
Okay.
just to name a few.
Judy Bloom. Yeah. Really? The children's author?
Yeah,
She was
the
like
children's author.
my
yeah.
favorite author growing up. God, it's Me, Margaret. That's one of my
yeah,
favorite books. So that is amazing.
Thank you.
That is a huge feat, So I appreciate what you do. So tell us, how did this family business begin? How about you share? What was the motivation behind
I
it?
actually was the motivation behind
Okay.
us starting the business. I have eczema, so I started seeing boxes coming into the house, and I was wondering what's happening. And Christine would start pushing things at me, saying, try it. So after a lot of trial and error, a lot of sampling with our family, we came up with our body butters here. Nikki, we have a thank you box for you, but we'll get to that when we ask you to try it.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I was basically the reason why we started Cube Style. So it's made with ingredients that you can pronounce, everything found in nature. Just because I was trying the over-the-counter things, they just weren't working. So we wanted to have something that everyone can use that was good for them.
Okay, fantastic, and that's important. Reading a label for anything you're going to ingest, whether it's food or or thing you're going to apply on your skin, you have to be able to pronounce it, right?
Exactly. So like one of the guests before us was saying, your skin is your largest organ, so you need to take care of it. You have to make sure that you're using all natural things that you understand the purpose of the use. So that's why we came up with our skincare brand.
Okay, and how long has the business been around now?
So this September, it's going to be 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, so this is basically, we like to call it our COVID baby. So we literally started the business September of 2020, but we actually started production and formulation in March. So literally when the world was shutting down and closing, that's when we decided to just get a move on it. We were a bit bored because there's nothing to do. You couldn't go
Right.
outside, so we might as well just start kind of formulating some stuff. And again, we used Camille as a guinea pig, and it worked. So we decided to go full speed ahead. And it's also thanks to our mother too, who was literally gave us a set date of September 11th is when we had to launch, and that was the firm deadline.
I love that. Okay, so some goals were set, and I think you talked about COVID and people being in a period of pivot, right? The pivot time. So many businesses kind of exploded during that time and still flourishing like yours. So that's really amazing to tap into the creativity and saying, okay, let's look at the situation and how can we make the best of it. So you turned that time into a skincare opportunity. So tell me, I know the products are all natural and high quality products, but what are some of the areas that you kind of focus on? What areas of the skin?
So for our body butters, we say it's body butter, so it's not face cream. It is actually for your neck down.
Okay.
So anywhere that you feel the driest, your elbows, your knees, the backs of your feet, even your feet themselves, your hands, your knuckles, you would want to use it because it's more concentrated than lotion. It doesn't contain any water. And what it does is it helps to hydrate your skin. So you're going to feel that moisturization as you use it.
It's funny, like, because we are made up of mostly water, right? Over 60%. But you're saying your product has no water. And why,
No water.
why is that?
So shea is actually from a nut, so it forms a butter.
Okay.
We also add almond oil, and we add aspen bark, which is our natural preservative. It's found from trees, as well as whatever the essential oil to give it its scent. So the reason we don't use water is because it's highly concentrated. You don't need to pump it. You just
Okay.
need to use a fingertip.
Okay.
Everyone who's using shea,
One
please
fingertip.
use a fingertip, not because a lot of people think that shea is greasy, but you feel the need to use a lot because that's what you're used to with your lotion. You don't need to use a lot for it to work.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. And what are some of the ways that you've reached out to the community, Candace, to let people know about Q-Style?
So some of the ways that we've reached out, actually, we started with Black-owned TO. So everything has spiraled because of Black-owned TO in a good way. So one of our cousins, hey cousin, he told us to, I think you should do this market. So let's do that. And ever since then, it's just been go time. So yeah, Black-owned teal really helped us to get going. So,
And just to add on to what Candace said as well too, that same market that she's talking about, that we started with Black-owned TO. Literally, we started the business in September, and we did that market in November. Yes. So within just a couple months, 2 months. We were mixing product for it. We didn't know what to expect because it was our first market, our first event. So we just went in there kind of like, oh, well, hopefully we at least sell 1 or 2 products. And within a span of an hour, we sold out of everything.
yeah.
So we had to literally take orders on,
yep.
We stayed the whole day, of course, and we were literally taking orders by hand. And then the next weekend we did drop-offs.
Okay.
That 3 locations. So that was pretty big. I think then is when we kind of knew that the business was definitely going to take off from there.
Yeah, I would say, sold out in a couple of hours and just,
Yes.
okay, back. So where's the lab? Where do you make the products?
So we handcraft our body butters. It's a family business. So when we say truly family made by 3 sisters, it is physically made by 3 sisters. So we don't want to give you all of the juice, Nikki, where we actually make it, just in case someone wants to take our blueprint.
Trade secret.
We haven't patented our blueprint yet. But when we say that it is a family business, it is truly a family business. Our junior ambassadors here, that's my niece. My dad helps us with the production. My mom is basically our money person, so she does our accounting.
Is mom here?
No, they're actually not, but they're watching. Hey, Mom and Dad.
Candace does our research and development. Christine is the one who actually came up with the formula, and then I'm the salesperson. If you notice, I like to talk. So that's really how our business basically has made it. We're just family business.
And how it's basically worked because everybody knows what they do well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nobody steps on each other's toes. It's like, okay, Candace, I know you're going to do the research and development, the marketing, so that's your expertise. Camille, I know you're going to be doing the sales, so I don't have to worry about that. And then I just basically handle the day-to-day and looking for markets and opportunities and stuff like that. So we all come together pretty well. I know it's unbelievable, I know.
I just see another, I see another market opportunity to sell a book on how to have a happy family business.
That's right.
There you go.
I work with family too, but sometimes it's just like, oh, I love you.
Well,
I choose to love you.
It's lucky for us that we are an odd number, so there's never a time when you have to worry about the fact that you could be split down the middle. There will always be a definitive answer. The thing with us is that we accept whenever the decision is made that is the decision and we have to go with it. You know, I'm the oldest, so I've known them all of their lives. So you kind of play to their personalities as well.
Right.
But having a family business, and it was asked a lot, how is it working with your sisters? Well, I've known them all their lives. So for me, it's easy. It's like, you know, we lived in the same house for umpteen million years. So we come up with an idea in the afternoon, or maybe it could be just through our discussion during the day. And then we discuss it, come to a decision, and then by the next morning, we set a plan. So working with my sisters is easy because I know them, really.
Yeah.
And I think it's how we were raised as well,
Yeah.
too. Like how our parents raised us. There was no fighting, there was no hitting, there was no scratching or screaming or anything like that.
Right.
It's like you talk it out. You might not want to talk to that sibling for maybe a day, but then, especially when it comes to business, you know, there's money on the table. So you can't afford to not talk to your sibling for X amount of days or weeks or months. It's like, you know, there's a common goal that you have, that you set. And we, of course, respect each other as well, too. These are my two older sisters, so there is that respect aspect as well. So, for example, if there's something I want to do, but these two don't agree, then it's a no. Or if we really are, you know, strong-headed with it, we would get our parents involved. And then ultimately, it's like, okay, whatever mom says. So
you defer to mom.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty much, but usually, because it is an odd number, we're very, very lucky in terms of being able to make decisions, especially big decisions that we know that will affect the business in the long run. We kind of look at it like that. Will that propel our business to where we want to go or what we want to do? And if the answer is yes, then we would proceed. And if it's not, then, you know, it would be a no. So I think that's how that works.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait any longer. Can I try what's in the nice box?
Of course you can.
May I? Okay.
So this is one of our gift sets. So we've personalized it by saying thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
It contains 4 4-ounce jars. So this was something that we did during the Christmas gift giving season for those customers that wanted to either give 4 separate gifts, give one gift of multiple scents, and then it had different flavor stories. So
flavor story.
Yeah. So the first flavor story was holiday. So that contained our candy cane chocolate, vanilla, and our champ, which actually is sweet orange, ginger, and vanilla. The second flavor story was tropical. So that contained what I'm holding right now, which is our coconut scent, our pina colada scent, which is coconut.
I want the pina colada.
Okay. I got that one for you too. I had a feeling you were gonna like that. So it contained the pina colada scent as well as the vanilla and our clarity scent, which is lemon, lime, and eucalyptus. And then there was a choose your own box, and a calm relaxation box, which basically contained our lavender and other scents as well. So this is for you, Nikki. I'm just opening it for you.
Yes.
Smell it first.
Smell it first. Oh yeah, that's good.
It's a vacation in a bottle.
That's a vacation. That's Cuba in a little bottle right here.
So all you have to do, Nikki, is exactly what
Cuba.
you're doing. Exactly what you're doing now. You don't need more than a
Yeah, I don't have to
You don't need to dig into
scoop.
it. That's
it's
right.
Just a little rub, and I'm gonna go to the dry area.
Yes.
Which would be my elbow. It just absorbs right in there.
Right in there.
And it smells amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. No, it feels satiny soft.
Yay.
Great. You're welcome.
You got to try this. Amazing. So tell me, how can people purchase
So
the Cube Style products?
We're online, www.cubestyle.com. We're also in a few stores in Toronto. We're in the W Hotel Public School. That is their area where we do sell a few of our scents. We're also at the O Spot in Ajax. We're in Hair Dome in Pickering, and Black Owned Teal in Scarborough Town Center and in Square One. That's where we are. Did I miss anyone?
No,
Not
you
anyone,
got it.
but you can find us around the city at markets.
Yeah.
We usually have it on our social media. So These two are my social media people. I do not touch it.
She's the main one, Christine.
So if you want to know where we are close to you and around the city, you can always check our Instagram, which is @CubeStyle. And we'll let you know where we usually are on a weekend basis or a weekly basis.
Oh, also as well too, I would like to add that because we use glass jars, we do have a recycling program.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, whenever you guys order, we do at our markets, we would give you a small card, and it's like a loyalty program. So once you return your jars at any markets that we're at, we will stamp the amount that you give us, and your 12th jar that you return, you get a free body butter on us. So yes, that body butter is available at the market. So you get to basically come to the market, let us know which scent that you would like that we have available there, and yeah, you get it for free. So that's kind of our sustainability, recycle, you know.
I love that.
Type thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Giving back.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. Paying it forward. Well, I thank you so much. 3 beautiful sisters, family business. You're really an inspiration. So thank you so much. And I love the gift. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So GOLive, please follow them on social media. 3 lovely sisters who are just doing wonderful things and giving back to the community. Thanks again.
Thank you for having
Thank you for having us,
us.
Nikki.
You're welcome. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Someone told me that if you want to manifest your future husband, you got to put it out there. So this song is dedicated to my future husband, wherever he is. You got me. Baby, 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 you really something. I'm tripping off your loving. Tell me how you do that. Saw the tides of love come and go, and this time I know for sure, 'cause you got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got me. Baby, 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 tell me what you're thinking. I hope it's what I'm feeling. Hey, hey. Tell me how you do that. That my God, I'll let you in. And this time I am winning, 'cause you got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got me. You got me in the morning and by candlelight. You got me without warning. Yeah, you got me. You got me. Yeah.
All right, welcome back. Everyone good? Yes. Amazing. Well, I just want to thank you for, staying with us. It's around the last lap of the show, and we still have so much more to share. And I want to just take this moment to say a very special thank you to our show sponsor, TEAO Canada, transforming mental health care in Canada, one community at a time. And TEAO stands for Trauma Embodiment Association of Ontario. Very special thank you to the founder, Nicole Faulkner Brown, who is here. Thank you. You are a blessing. And her team members, thank you so much for everything you do. We really do appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you. And there's also a very special offering that TEAO has for you. If you would like to get involved in any of the programs, there are some programs for leaders and educators, as well as peer-led service directory, resources and support for individuals. Any one of those that you'd like to be involved in, there is a special promo code that you can add into the area when you're checking out, and it's the Nikki Clarke Show. So just put the Nikki Clarke Show promo code, and you'll get a very special discount and courtesy of TEAO Canada. So thank you very much for what you're doing. Okay, you got to do this. This is amazing work. So thank you. Helping to heal the community. That's very important. So we're back, and I am so impressed with the body of work that I've been watching. A podcast available on Instagram and YouTube. He's a podcaster, he's a YouTuber, he's a mortgage agent, and also the founder of Financial Solutions. And he's got really an incredible wealth of wisdom to offer the community in the respect of finances. So I am so excited to introduce Roy Simon to you. Please welcome him.
Thank you for having me. That was a wonderful introduction, by the way, very colorful. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's really, the pleasure is all mine. And I have to say that I'm a big fan. I go through your episodes and I'm like, I learned something today. So I appreciate what you do. But you had to have a journey to get there, right? So tell us a little bit about your motivation, your inspiration to be, kind of catapulted into the financial industry. How did that happen?
Well, how much time do you have?
You've got a few minutes.
A journey is definitely the word to use. It's been a long path to get here. I would say it started primarily when I was buying my first house, and I bought my house pre-construction. So long story short, the way that works is you sign on the dotted line for a certain price, and they tell you it's going to be done at X date. And me thinking that everything was fine and dandy, I said, okay, when X date gets here, I'm going to just get my keys. Not realizing that I had to get a mortgage to close on said property. So I was notified 2 months prior to closing that you need to have your mortgage. Where is it at? This is where we're at right now. Can you give us the information? And I'm like, what do you mean? What information?
What are you talking about?
You should tell me where my mortgage is. Isn't that how this goes? And I had to scramble to figure out how to get a mortgage to close on this property so I don't lose my deposit. And I had to converse with a bunch of different mortgage agents and professionals in that space, in that time frame, to get the job done. Got yanked in a bunch of different directions, wasted a bunch of time and money. Ultimately, I did close, so I got my keys. But when I reflected on the whole journey to get to that point, I realized quickly that, one, I should have been more prepared. Two, there should have been a lot more information out there for me to know what to do.
Yes.
And also reflecting, I realized I got manipulated and taken advantage of because of my desperation in that moment. So I wanted to kind of be exactly what I wish I had access to in that time. So I set out to be the difference I wanted to see. And here I am today.
I love that. Nice. Yeah, you have a beaming wife there in the audience.
She's lovely.
She's like, I love him. Amazing. Well, that is definitely a really like a raison d'être for what you do. And there's one of the episodes that I watched about you had like a truth moment. You were talking about a time in your life when your credit score wasn't the best, but you learned from that and you're able to teach on how to remediate the credit score. So can you tell us about how you can go about doing that, and maybe some nuggets about the value of credit,
right,
or as it relates to financial literacy?
For sure. And the name, it starts with it's financial. And just before I even got into this space, I used to have a YouTube channel. And that's where I used to share a lot of golden nuggets about how to have yourself in your best financial literate state and really just maximize your finances. And that was where I was just kind of just teaching little things here and there because I used to work at the bank, and I would tell all the information that I learned at the bank to the peers that I had.
Can you tell us which bank?
TD. But yes, and that's where I kind of got my knack for just sharing information. And it started a lot with just the basics of having good credit, because I don't know about you guys, but it's very difficult, especially in this time where we're seeing prices at astronomical highs, to buy everything cash. You're going to have to rely on credit at some point.
Yes.
So if you want to go and get a new car, the chances of you having the full amount to buy that car outright is slim to none. And by the time you do have that amount of money, it's probably going to be on a new car you want that is more expensive than the one that you were saving up for. So you need to access credit, and you need to be able to have good standing so that you can have the best type of prices associated with that financing. So your credit history is one of the biggest things that are going to help you determine having a good credit score. So that's why I really set out to resonate with the younger generation and keep your finances fly so that it's something that you can actually take pride in and be confident in. And that starts with having good credit and starting credit from an early age. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And having that history is so pivotal in how much of a credit score you're going to have, and just having the best financial position. So that's really where it begins. And some of the mistakes that I made, I like to share and be candid about. So when I had a credit score of 585, I said, well, you know what? This isn't the end of the world. I can fix this. And here's how I did it. And here's how you can too. And also avoid getting into that situation to begin with. So your credit is huge. It's one of the main factors that help you get a mortgage, and will help you, not go through the hurdles that I had to clear when I got my first house. And it's just about knowing better so you can do better. And that's just what I take pride in doing.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate your candor. But for those who are learning the value of credit, so a score you said of 580, that is
Typically
not the best.
Not on the good side. No.
Okay. What is a good credit score then?
So you really want to be around that 680 mark and above. A lot of people have this undying affliction to have like an 800 and 850. And
is it necessary?
I mean, for the most part, you're going to have access to the same things that people who have a 680 or 690 do, right? And it's just about being in a good standing, not necessarily the number specifically. If it's 891 versus it being 890, it's not that big of a difference. What you really want to do is just make sure you're in the good standing. There's good and there's bad. You want to be on the good side of things. So 680 and above is really where you want to be to take advantage of the best type of pricing and the best type of treatment when it comes to seeking out credit.
Okay. So how do you bounce back? How do you remediate your credit score?
Whew, well,
how did you do it?
First and foremost, just identifying what I was doing wrong. To really improve in any area in life, you've got to figure out, where do I stand right now? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? What can I continue doing? What do I got to stop doing? One of the biggest things that I was doing wrong was overutilizing my credit products. So one of the biggest things that help you determine what your credit score is your utilization. And what that means is how much credit do you have access to versus how much are you actually using. So if you've got a $1,000 credit card and you have a $300 balance on it, you're using 30%, that's 30% utilization. And that's right around where you want to stay. Going above 70% utilization is where you get into the red zone. So I was over-leveraged and overutilizing a lot of my credit products. So what that really required me to do was be aggressive and be focused on paying down those balances so that I could show that I'm being responsible, I can handle these things, because when you're overutilizing it, how you're looked at is you don't have full control over what it is you have access to, which is a bad thing. So that was the biggest thing for me. And also making sure that you're just being on time and being very diligent with your payments. So you don't want to be late, and you don't want to be missing payments entirely. And that's just one of the biggest things that can help change your whole trajectory. And it's also, one of the easiest fixes. It was as simple as me just putting in a reminder in my phone. We all have our phones every single day. Reminder every month, first of the month, pay that bill. And it can really be that simple.
Okay, and that's really good advice. But what about people who don't have credit history?
Good question. Credit history is one of those things where I think it's just a matter of not trying to do too much all in one swing. You want to make sure you're establishing yourself as early as possible, and that way you're building your credit history over the course of time. It's based exactly what it is credit history. You can't force time to take place in a short amount of time. So what you want to do is get ahead of that horse early and start as early as possible. So for example, when you're 18, get that small credit card and slowly handle that responsibly.
Like a store credit card? Like a store one?
Yeah, even a Walmart credit card. Or my first credit card was a PC Financial credit card. And there's nothing wrong with that, because what it allows me to do is have a small credit, make myself get acquainted with how credit is used, and not also mishandle a large amount of money and then be in a hole that's hard to dig out of if I have a tough time grasping the concept needed. So, you start with a credit card, then before you know it, you have a phone bill. That also contributes to your credit score. Then maybe you have a line of credit. Maybe you get a car loan, make those payments on time, and before you know it, you have an entire resume of how your credit is actually kept track of. And that's really what lenders are going to be looking at. And all the people and all the institutions that you're going to be relying on in the future can see, oh, okay, for the last 10 years, he's been doing this since he was a young lad to now.
A young lad,
Yes.
and now he's doing fabulous. So are you saying if you put yourself in a really strict regimen of paying on time, doing all the right things, you can bounce back like in 6 months, a year? What's realistic?
So it's going to be circumstantial. It's going to be different from person to person. For me, it really depends on what is it that's making your score what it is. For me, like I said, it was that utilization. And once I was able to bring those balances down to where they're supposed to be,
Right.
based on the criteria, it quickly turned around, and now I'm happily in the 700s, and that's in a matter of a couple of months, right? That wasn't too long ago. So I think a lot of the times we get down on ourselves and we're like, I'm here, I'm at rock bottom, but the problem is we stay there, or we think it's hopeless and we do nothing. And doing nothing means your situation is not going to change. So you really got to figure out, okay, what am I doing wrong right now? And that might require talking to somebody, and then doing the things that are necessary to change your situation. So for example, maybe someone else's problem is they've had a couple of late payments. Well, what you need to do then is get on the right track and make some on-time payments, so those late payments are in the history, or in your past. So everyone's remedy is going to be a little bit different. But like I said, it just matters. It really just depends on you having those conversations and figuring out where you stand and figuring out what you need to do to get to where you want to be.
And that's amazing. And I think there's some people who may have, they put their head in the sand and they don't want to look at their credit. But it's important to keep looking to see what's going on, because we're in a time where there's identity theft, and it's happened to close people in my life, and people have purchased things with their card unknowing to them,
Right.
and then they're affected. So, yeah.
And even to speak to that point, like, it is just largely, especially in my upbringing, in my community, money and finances is one of those things that nobody wanted to talk about, and it was a little bit uncomfortable, and it was just something that was a little bit self-conscious for a lot of people. And I think that if you have a better understanding and you become more comfortable and you can feel fly about your finances, it helps you feel a little bit more comfortable having those conversations, and then also identifying maybe what you could do better. And that's why maybe some of us stay in those places a little bit longer than need be, because we don't ever address them, we don't talk about it, and then before you know it, a year passes by, right? And then that could have been a year that you used to fix your situation or improve your status, right? So
Right.
for even to answer the question from before, like, how long could something take? It starts with you.
So true, so true. So what is next for you?
Next, I'm also a real estate investor. So I have 4 units that I own. I live in one with my lovely partner and our son, and I rent out the other 3. And my goal right now is to continue to share information with people, because I think a lot of the time, I get questions like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I was in a very, not a situation that I wasn't really proud of not too long ago. And it's something that I think is possible for a lot more people than they realize. So I really want to encourage and empower people and uplift people to realize that what you want isn't outside of your grasp, and it's not impossible. It just starts with you figuring out the right information. And I want to be that starting point of the information that they probably need. So continue to share that information, continuing to grow my own knowledge and improve my own situation as well. And also I wanna retire early and spend a lot of time with my family, and that's something I'm working hard towards as well.
Oh, well, we applaud you for all of that. That is a wonderful accomplishment. And tell us, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at financial.solutions. That's 2 Y's in financial. And you can find me on YouTube as well, where I have changed it from Who's Fly TV to Financial Solutions. So everything is all under one umbrella.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Roy Simon, everyone. Financial Solutions. Please follow him on social media. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been part of the show. Thank you, all the guests. Thank you, show sponsor TEAO Canada. We really appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you. And follow us, the NikkiClarkeNetwork.com, and on Instagram, NikkiClarke31. So we'll be back again, and we just want to keep those good stories out there to help move you in the right direction, personally and professionally. Thank you. God bless. We'll be back. Have a good night.